Okay, so I know this looks weird because this is a practice canvas. So I'm going to be doing hold on. I'm going to be doing this today. This painting, which you've seen before, is now dry, all dry and done as far as the acrylic. So now that I let it dry for 24 hours, I'm going to be putting color to it, but I wanted to test out the blues and see which blues I want to use. So I'm using this canvas, which I just threw some white on. You can see it's a practice canvas. I'm just going to do some test blues on here to know what I'm going to use for the main canvas. So I'm going to get my blues out. That's opaque. We do need transparent blues. So we have Prussian, that's transparent. Payne's Gray is transparent. Turquoise is opaque. Might do greens and blues, that's opaque. What's this? Hold on. What do we got here? Phthalo turquoise. This might make a very interesting color. What else do we have? That's opaque. I gotta get some more transparent blues, I guess. I thought I had more. Phthalo blue. What else? That's opaque. So, any more I mean, I could do purple into. Oof, I might be rough. I think turquoise and maybe Prussian blue would give a nice, interesting effect. But that's what I want to kind of test here. So we're going to use, let's put these onto, we don't need much paint. I know that. I rewatched the video for this and there's not much paint that's used for it. But I'm going to go with primarily blues. So Prussian blue and phthalo blue. Okay. Let me get a sip of coffee here. By the way, this gorgeous mug. This is a handmade Red Moon mug by a artist named Amy Ray Hill. I love this mug. My only complaint about this mug is it's a little bit on the small side. It's only 11 ounces, and I tend to like the bigger ones because I make more coffee. So this is very, very full, typically. But other than that, this is a one-to-one, man. She made this. I commissioned it. It's got some texture to it. It's just great. I'll put a link on the screen to the artist information because I love this. I love this mug. All right, so what I'm going to do is this is primarily a 3-brush painting. 1 brush to put on the liquid clear, 1 brush for white, a fan brush for the light rays, and that's really it. But I'm going to use a fan brush. Actually, you know what? I'll use. I'm going to use actually a 1-inch for the test parts, just to get an idea. So let's go ahead and just throw a little bit of each of these colors on the test palette here. Don't need much because this is really just for seeing how a little more than that. Just a small amount, just to see how these all look next to each other and maybe blend it a bit, but not much paint at all. So just small, because I know like phthalo is a lighter version of Prussian, so I already kind of know the color temperature, but I also want to see what the Payne's Gray looks like, because it's not really, it's kind of a neutral blue almost. Oh, I guess no, maybe not. Maybe it is more of a gray than I thought it was. So probably not going to use Payne's Gray, but I want to see specifically where the turquoise falls compared to the Prussian blue. So let's just do a little bit here just to see, because I suspect this is darker. Now, of course, this doesn't have liquid clear on it, so it's not going to be as flowy, but that's okay. This is just to see what the colors look like. And I'm not even going to really clean the brush. So now we're going to Prussian. Ooh, those worked well together. See, I think that's going to be a nice mix. Okay, and then a little bit of this is phthalo, which should be lighter. Definitely, that's lighter. And then just to see it, I'll put the Payne's Gray on there, but I don't think I'm going to actually use. Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, it is a blue. It's a bluish gray. But I don't think I'm going to use Payne's. I don't know. Maybe on the very, very corners to kind of vignette it, I might use a little of the Payne's Gray, but probably not much. So I think what I'm going to do is it's going to be, and this is kind of what I suspected, it's going to be turquoise to Prussian to phthalo in the very center, and then some of the gray on the very outside. Okay, that's what I needed to test. That's literally as much as I needed to do with that. I just wanted to see what the values looked like, get a sense of what was dark and light. And now we're going to go to the big painting, so I'm just going to clean this brush off. I'm using the small jar because, again, I'm not going to be using much paint, and I'm not going to be using much thinner because I don't need to. There's not a bunch of colors. I don't need to destroy an entire thing of paint thinner for 3 brushes and not that much paint, to be honest. That's what I like about this painting. It doesn't consume much. All right, so we'll dry this off. Not that I'm using this again, but we'll dry this off. All right, I don't even need the big palette. I can probably just use this palette right here and just put more paint on it. All right, let's take this thing off, and I'll just keep it as a guide, but I don't need this here anymore. I'll just put this right here. Just let it sit there. Yeah, that won't get any paint on anything, but that I can just look at it because definitely, yeah, that gray is darker. All right, so now let's get the real canvas in here. All right. Okay, here we go. Yep. Put this right here, and I do need the edges of this out because I am going to. This thing is so uneven. I have to fix this. I don't know how it got this way. This thing is way off, so I'm gonna have to. Maybe tomorrow I'll actually put this thing on the table and fix it because it should not. Look at that. That should not be that far off. Anyway, that's my problem. Don't worry about that. I'll take care of that. It doesn't really matter, but it annoys me because it shouldn't be like that. So let me just push this out. I will move this a bit over to accommodate that top part, which is just dumb, but I'll do it. And I just need to have the edges pushed out a bit because I am going to coat the whole canvas. Okay. Get my clamps. These things, lifesavers. Very cheap too. Very, very cheap and expensive clamps. But man, they really make sure your painting doesn't move. Lifesavers. Hold on. Is there a lip there? Yeah, there is. Let me just fix that. Otherwise, it might just pop and I don't want it to move on me. Let's see. Come on, buddy. Angle a little more. Angle. There we go. Okay. It's that side. Let's put this one on. There we go. And then we put our top clamps on. Normally I've already done this before I start recording, but because I was doing that test painting, I hadn't put it on yet. Okay. Is that on enough? Hold on. Yeah, it is. I mean, these things have some nice force. I don't know what the brand is on them. Equipped. But if you're looking for clamps, they work very well for painting anyway. I can't say anything about like woodworking or something like that. You might want a heavier duty thing, but for holding a canvas like this, excellent. Okay. Coffee. I just got, by the way, I just got 2 paint. I have a lot of paint coming this week. I just got chromium oxide green and nice opaque green. And what was the other new one that I got? I got another new one. It was a yellow. This Naples yellow, because a lot of my yellows are actually not semi-transparent. Actually, I don't have a lot of yellows, and the oranges I have are almost all transparent. I mean, I have this, the CAD yellow is opaque, but that's really it. I don't have a lot of good yellows. I need some transparent blues, because I guess I haven't even a number, but I need, that's like a transparent, but I need something more transparent in this kind of range. But anyway, and I have some reds coming that are opaque, because almost all my reds, as you can see, are transparent. Yeah, this one's transparent. Bright red is semi-opaque, but I have what's described as a very opaque. I already had chromium oxide green, but interesting, but I had it in a different. This is the artist oil. This is 19. Oh, whatever. It's not like I don't like having green, because I probably am going to do. I'm going to do another version of this again at this size. But one thing I realized is I made my trees way too straight. On the next one I do, this center tree is going to be way more bent, kind of like it is in the Bob Ross painting, thinner. And then a lot of these trees are going to be, and I'm going to try to make that one a little, that's going to be a green tint, but this is going to be all blue. Anyway, let's get our liquid clear on here, which is, boy, I'm going to just run some of that off because, man, oh man. Luckily, my red painting was okay, but, whatever. Just going to sprinkle this around, and I got to really work this stuff in. Really work it in. I'm still going to hit it with the paper towel because I know that I use too much of this, although I have to get more because I'm finally running out. But this stuff is so easy to overdo. and I really don't want to take a chance on it. So that, spread it out there. I mean, luckily I can see where it is, so it's easier, but still. I even felt like on the red one that I had too much, and I really don't know if I did, but I don't want to take a chance on it, so rather than that, and I'm back on the GoPro mic, which I actually had to use my wireless mic. I didn't realize the battery was not as full as I thought it was, so it kind of died at the end, which wasn't a huge deal, because I don't think, I mean, audio quality for something like this is, I don't think, what you really care about, but still, I was annoyed by it, because I realized I'd never checked it. So, quick tip, everybody, if you're going to use wireless microphone equipment, it's a good idea to make sure that you know what the battery level is. See, I can feel some places where there's clearly not enough clear there, kind of in there, sort of the middle. Let's do a little bit in the middle. Again, I just get so nervous with this stuff, because if you overdo this, it will destroy your painting. I mean, it will. I had a painting I really liked, and I think a day later we came out, I think my wife saw it, and she said, your painting's running. And I mean, it dripped right off the painting onto the chair because too much liquid clear, and it basically just melts the paint. You can't see it right away usually. That's the weird part, is unless you really overdo it to a point where it's ridiculous, you can't see it until the paint runs, and that's not what you want to find out. So, okay, I think we've got enough on here now. Probably gonna run over it with the paper towel just to make sure. Let me just look at it. What I should do is probably get like a flashlight, and actually I can use the light on my phone and just see how it looks reflective wise. Or wow, no, that's too small of a light. It's too dim of a light. Oh, I can see it. Hold on, I'm looking. Yeah, okay, hold on. Sorry, I know you're gonna get like a low angle. I'm just looking at it, just checking. It looks pretty good. The center looks like it's got too much. Okay, well, that's why I have this. So we're just gonna kind of lightly run over it just to try to pull off excess, especially right there. Yeah, because you really don't need much. Okay, yeah, and let's just do a quick pass one more time. The middle still looks a little heavy to me, so I'm just gonna try to get, yeah, I can see it coming off now. Okay, there we go. That's pretty good. I don't want to leave too much of the paper towel behind either. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, I just want to see something. See? Can't tell if there's any there. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I think we're okay. We're good. Okay. Let me fold that. I don't think I'll need it, but just in case, let's go ahead and put the top back on this. So I should not need more clear. I think we'll be good there. Seal that up. All right, let me clean this brush off so this does not get gunked up. This way it can start drying. I will not be using this for the color. I have my other 2-inch for the color. And I'm not going to clean that other brush as I go along. I'm just going to start with the lightest color and then go back in with the darker colors. See, that's the only other problem with this little thing, is it splashes so easy. All right, there we go. Okay. Okay. All right, we're good with that. So, dry that. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm just going to use the same palette, and that's fine. I'll just put the colors in different spots. All right. Starting with, no, start with the light one. Lightest, phthalo blue. So we'll put a big thing of phthalo blue right here. Bigger. But even here, I'm going to kind of go, I'm going to have to replace this because there's not much left. It's really solidified in there. I mean, not badly, but it's definitely You know, but I don't need a ton of paint with this color because it's going to spread pretty easy. We'll just, yeah, that's exactly it. Just start spreading this color through. Just start moving through the painting. Give it this blue tint that I'm going to use all the way down to the bottom. We'll just try to spread that out. I mean, that already has a darkness to it, but we're going to do more. So let's go to the other corner now. All right, start there. Just start moving that through. I don't imagine this is going to be a particularly long video because this probably will not take long since I'm doing one color throughout. Not one color, but I'm doing one hue, which is blue. I'm not doing multiple colors. Everything's going to be in the blue family, so this should be pretty easy. I'm just going to keep dotting the blue out on the edges and moving it in so that it doesn't get too heavy in the center where the sun is going to be. And yep, even down there, that's all going to be blue too. Keep moving that in. Just work that. I'm not too worried about the edges because we're going to have other colors out there anyway. Okay, hold on. And I'm using a good amount of force to just move this around and keep spreading it. Because see, there's color in there too, so if I use a little bit more force, you get a little bit more out of it. We'll come down here in a minute. Okay. That's good though. That's a nice light, you know. This a little bit, even that out. Yeah, just do a little bit. Don't be afraid to really beat on the canvas. It'll be fun, especially with those clamps. You'll be all right. And you really want to get that paint moving around. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's a nice blue we got going, like a nice icy kind of winter blue, which is good because it is winter right now, so I do want that blue color. I was messing around with this. I had a picture of this on my iPad. I was playing with colors, and my wife and I both like the blue, so that's what we're going with. It was really between blue and yellow, and I'm going to do another version of this that's going to be oranges and yellows, because luckily I have a lot of orange and yellow transparencies. So I'm going to do another version of this, and that one is going to be the opposite. That's going to be warm, like summer colors. So oranges, yellows for the most part. Maybe a little bit of red, but not much. Not much. Okay. There we go. Just spread that through there. See, that's what I mean about you want to work the brush hard because you can move that paint around. And that just tints everything for you. And there's really no harm in it because I'm trying to move the paint. So it's actually good to have a little bit more force on it. Because that'll move the paint around. So you probably need one more dose of this. And this should be good. Okay. It's pretty good. Actually, I might not need more. I might be able to pick it up from in here and move it. Let's see. Maybe. No, I'll probably do one more in there. Just to even this out. Because I don't mind it having stronger parts, but at the same time I want it to be evenly distributed to some degree. Okay. Let's just see if I can wash that out a little more. It's pretty good, actually. I might not need that much more at all. Okay. Okay, a little more. I'm just going to put a little bit more in here. And radiate that out. Make sure we got everything covered. I think we do for that color now. Okay, so there's your blues. Yep, so that's a nice blue. I'm going to punch a little bit more in that corner there. Just to darken that up a little bit. And that should give some nice tone to the turquoise when it comes in. And again, we'll just radiate this out like that. Yeah. And then maybe a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of the darker corners of the forest, just to set them off a little bit from that the shrubs and the hedges on the bottom. Just drag that out, but not go down. Just come up. Yeah, like that. Okay, and of course there's going to be white in here, so that's going to get brightened up. All right, so now, actually I'm going to go right into the turquoise now, since I've got some here. Let's get the turquoise, and let's put this like this. Some over there, but let's start here. Do that turquoise color. Kind of bring that in. Yeah, I don't think I got enough. Can't really see it. Let me put more on the canvas here. Or the palette, sorry, not canvas. Palette. I mean, it will be on the canvas, but right now it's got to be on the palette. There we go. That should be enough. Again, I'm not using a ton. There really just isn't a need. Why is this cap not going on? Come on, man. Okay, this cap is just trying to fight me now. Okay, well, I'll figure that out later. Let's get a good amount of this on there. There we go. That's a better amount. Right. And bring that in. Oh, yeah. That's a good amount. Okay. Yeah, that's it. And then we just bring that in. Kind of let that fade off. As it hits the middle, drag it up, drag it down a little bit. Ooh, that's a nice kind of darkness to those corners. Look at that. That is nice looking. I might not even need the what's the word for it? The Prussian blue, or I may do the Prussian blue on the bottom. I might stick with the turquoise on the top corners. Darken this up a bit. So it gives it some kind of contrast here. Bring that like that. Bring that over, bring it down, bring it in, but not too heavy. I don't want to destroy what's there. Bring it across. Yeah, look at that. See how nice and dark that is? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to touch it with the blue up there. I think I'm going to bring the blues down here and bring it up. So let's get some of that Prussian here. Just a bit. Dot that. Dot that. Bring that up. Yeah, see? And just try to avoid, I don't want to hit the shrubs or whatever, the hedges. I just want this to kind of come up and meet the turquoise like that and bring it in just a bit. Yeah. Let's see, that leaves, so now you have kind of different color temperatures there. So again, we'll bring the blue here and we'll bring this up. We'll bring this in. But again, I don't want to touch the, and there is still turquoise on the brush, so there is still there, but you definitely have a bluer thing happening there. See, like that's a different blue in the corner, but I think what I'm going to try here, this may work, this may not. I'm just going to try to dot through here, see if I can just bring this up. I don't know if I put enough paint on the brush to make that work, but I don't want to hit the shrubs, so I want to have that come up a little bit. I don't know if I had enough on the brush for that. I might have to use the corner. Let me see. Use the corner of the brush just a bit. Yeah, something like that. There we go. There we go. See? Just a little bit. But now the bottom is kind of that darker blue. That's different from the top. So I'm going to use the corner of the brush. Just kind of lay it in. Bring that up. It's okay if it's on the tree. I just don't want it in the shrubs. Just kind of fan that up a little bit. Yep, that's it. A little more. Just again, the corner. Just bring that in. Bring that up. Doesn't have to be heavy either. Like, that's okay. There, I'm going to put some. So let's get a little more on there. Let's punch that there. Saying just, I want that color difference, where there is that kind of darker blue that comes up. And that way this is not the same as that, so you got some difference happening. So it's not really just one blue. I don't want it to be one blue. I want it to be kind of a number of blues, and then I can do that. And that'll separate the hedges and the brush out, shrubbery. Up. Okay. A little more. Right here. Bring that up. That. A bit there. okay. Just try to blend that a little bit more than it is. Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. All right. Whoop. Good. So yeah, now we have the dark blues on the edges. We got the turquoise on the top. Now I want to hit this with a little bit of the gray on the corners, just on the corners. So I'm going to dip into that gray. And that's going to just be down here. And we're just going to bring that up like that. Just to darken the corners a little bit. Not a ton. I got to be careful with that gray. I don't want to destroy it. So I don't want to go too heavy with it. But I want it to be pretty. See, like that? That's good. So that's nice. Okay. All right. Just a little bit. Bring it out a little bit more from there. There we go. Just fan it a bit. Yep. So see, now there's a little bit of darkness down here. I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna wash this. I'm gonna wash this brush, and I'm gonna take. I wasn't intending to use a small brush like the 1-inch, but I think I'm gonna use the 1-inch to go into those corners with the gray, just gray, just to give it a little bit of dimension. So hold on. And there's a siren. I hear an ambulance, so I don't know if we'll luck out and it'll go by or if it's going to blast us. I think it's going away. Yep, it is. I think. So we'll use this 1-inch landscape again. Let that 2-inch dry. Let's use this. Let's do the Payne's Gray by itself. Just in the corner of this, right there, with no other colors added. And we're going to punch in just some in here. Just kind of a little bit here, a little bit there, there, and there. So let's see here. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that's the pure gray without any color. Yeah, that's better. We'll just bring that in. Doesn't have to be heavy. Just a little bit. Just tap that in there. And then sort of fan it up. Just so it looks like that's fading into the background. Just a little bit. Not a lot. I don't need a lot. But see, it kind of layers it. Just a bit. A little more. Come over here. And we'll just kind of blend that. I mean, it's going to pick up the blue anyway. But it just gives a little bit of weight. Okay. Yeah, see? See that? It's just a little bit darker there. Just a little bit. I'm going to do a little right there. Just a bit to darken this up. And just, yeah, separate it. Yeah, see that? Maybe a little bit down here. Just to kind of run across the bottom. Without, again, I don't want to go too heavy with this. Just a little bit of it to kind of give it a, yeah, no, that's it. See? Still basically just the same blues. Now though, now we're going to hit it with white. So let's wash this little brush off. Yeah, now we're going to punch it with white. We are going to knock it back with some white now. Get that color off. Color off. Quick clean of this. I will not need this brush again, but I'm going to clean it now so it can dry. And we'll just do this. Really nice having this cloth tarp here to be able to dry stuff with. So let's take this 2-inch here. Let me just make sure that's dry. I want to make sure that's real dry. So I'm just going to run it back and forth. I'm sure it is. Just making sure. Hey, that's good. Okay. Coffee. Hold on. Look at that cup. Look at that cup, huh? All right, yeah. No, that's good. So we're going to hit the white. I think I'm going to put the white here and then do the rays mostly this way. So the rays are going to mostly be coming kind of at this angle. Maybe a little bit there, but nothing up this way. And on the next version of this that I do, I'm going to move this big tree. The center tree is going to be way off center. And I want to have the light really firing this way, as opposed to being in the center, like this one is. Not that I mind this, but I like the idea of it being really, really radiant on one side. Okay. Actually, I don't know. Did she sign the bottom of these things? No, but she did paint on the bottom. Look at that. See that? Even on the bottom. This mug is magnificent. Okay. White. Titanium white. Let me make sure these caps are nice and secure. It's always a good idea to not take a chance on that. Not that I've ever had anything leak, but do you really want to mess with that? Yeah, this cap just does not. I think it's because there's dried paint. Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay. Put my paints away. Won't need these. God, look at all these wonderful colors. Yeah, see, I mean, not this, but like this, the next one's going to be a lot of oranges and yellows like that. A lot of good stuff. Okay. All right, let's get the white in here. And again, I really don't need a ton. I need some. Jeez, even this thing is stiff. Wow, picked up that blue, huh? I must have put the brush down. God, this paint is really stiff. I wonder if this paint's starting to go bad. Just get that cleaned off. Because, man, that's really firm in there. It could be the cold, too. It's very, very possible that's partially the cold. But, man, it's fighting me. Okay, not that I need a ton. I really do not need a ton of this color for this, because it's really just the sun and the rays. So there doesn't have to be a ton of it. Okay. All right. Do you see how firm that is? It's probably the cold, I'm guessing, but let's see here. All right. Okay. Let's just get that in there, move around, and I'm going to blend this out, so it's going to be fine, but let's just get the primary in there, move that out. Yeah, see, I'm going to have to come in with a brush and blend that, which is fine. I was figuring I would have to do that, but I'm just getting the basic color in there. You know it's not going to look like that in the end, but that's okay. Do a little bit more. Right in that area, just keep brightening it out. All right, just blend that. Because again, you don't have to do much with this. That's why it doesn't take much paint. But I want enough that I can blend it properly, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to come in with a clean brush, and I'm going to blend it. So that's why I want to make sure that I have enough white in there and enough around the surrounding part that I can blend it properly. So just got to kind of work in a circular fashion here. Just put a little bit of white around. Oh, bug. See that? Bug came right into there. Unbelievable. Okay, anyway. It's not a big deal. It's just annoying when bugs come in. Okay, so that's the white. Now, obviously, I can't leave it like that. So, we're going to come in with the, where's my oval brush? Here it is. I'm going to use the one, actually, no, I'll use the other one. Oval one might be a little trickier. Okay. Let's start blending this. See, I'm just gonna soften all this out and kind of as I'm coming out, see that? That's what you want, is you don't want those harsh lines. Not yet. We're gonna be putting harsh lines in, but not yet. And we'll just do this. Just soften that out and move that out. And then what I'm gonna use is like kind of shooting out strokes on it, and that'll kind of give it the sunbeam effect before I do the main ones. So like this. Just like that. To make it look like it's the sun shooting out. Angles are a little bit funky, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just trying to eliminate that kind of brush stroke effect like this. See? Because now it looks like, you know, the sun. To some degree, it actually looks like the sun if it was like through a lens and it was getting distorted, which is okay. I don't mind that. And then if I need to, I can come back in with white in the center and brighten it even more, but I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's going to be all right. All right. And then just do a little bit more in here. Really lightly, just kind of soften some of these areas. I mean, I'm barely even touching the canvas, but I might need to pop a little bit more white in the center just to really emphasize that it's the sun. So let's take the corner of this, just dip it in the white here, just pop that right there, just kind of do this, work that out. See, that's better because now it's much shinier. And I'm just gonna work this a little bit further before I come back in with the other brush and soften those outer edges. But that, yeah, okay. So now I'm not going to touch that center point. I'm just going to come into here, really lightly brush this out. Barely touching it. Kind of just shoot these rays out. Kind of explode the white out, like you would expect light to do. Just work around like that. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for that. Hold on, one more. Just want to try to eliminate some of those real subtle dead areas here. All right. Okay. Let me see something. Maybe this brush wasn't as dry as I thought. So let me grab my other one. This one, which I know is dry because I haven't used it yet. Let's see if this works. Ah, yeah, there we go. Maybe that brush still had a little bit of thinner on it. Yeah, this is working better. So we'll do that. This is a completely dry brush that hasn't been used for anything in this painting anyway. I'm just going to draw that out. Right. Just shoot that out like that. Okay. All right. So we got that. Now, this is my dry brush, so I'll just keep that there. So now I'm going to take a fan brush, go into just a bit of white, pull a bit of white off of here, both sides. Right. Hold on. Now we want to do our beams, so we'll just do, that's the sun, like that, there, come this way. See, this is where I always get in trouble, is the angles, but it's all right. And I'm going to have it heavily skewing this way. Okay, hold on, okay, a little more white. Okay, and maybe we'll do one here, and we'll emphasize that a little more. Yep. Okay, and a little bit more on that. It seems a little light. All right, so that, maybe one there, and then one coming down like that, and one like that. That's it. Okay, let me put this down. So now I'm gonna take this and do that to it. Just blend those out and kind of ghost them a bit so that they become like light beams, so that they're not harsh edges. See? Just like that. Blend them through. Give it that velocity that you would expect out of a light beam. So you try to draw it in so it's like it's emanating. This one, this one, this one. Just try to stretch it out. Same with that. That can go right off the canvas. See? Just kind of pull it, pull and pull and pull and pull. Well, okay, not that much. That, there we go. Kind of fade that way off. And then pull this one, that one. And I think think that's where we're going to leave it, probably. I'm just looking at it, see if I need any... You know what, I think I disappeared one of those a little too much. So let me redo one, because I kind of lost that whole one. There's one of them that was a lot more visible, and I think I'd already started with not enough paint. So we're going to redo this one right here. Yeah, I want that one to be more prominent. So let's just blend that like that. Yeah, that's better. You can see it more now. That one too looks a little light for me. So let's just see here. Just a bit, because I'm going to pull it. So if I can just pull it through. Yeah, much better. Much better. Maybe that one too. Yeah, some of them I blended them a little. I think there wasn't enough paint in there to begin with, but let me just do something like that. I only just need to put a little bit of the white in, and I can just pull it through. See? That's the way to do that. Yeah, that's better. And I think that's it. Do I want one shooting that way? I don't think I do. I think I like it where it is. I wonder if I should have... No, I think... You know what? I do want one more here. I want one more there. I feel like it needs one more, so let's get a good amount of paint on this. Let's put a nice thick one here. All right, and then come in through here. Pull that through. There we go. That puts it in front of that tree. Gives it that dimension. Yep. That's what it was missing. Because now it's in front of that tree. So you got something like that. And that's it. I mean, that's really all that has to get done. Unless I want to do one thicker beam. I don't know. I'm afraid to make too big a beam. You know what? Screw it. You know what? Paintings are meant to be experimented with, right? So we're going to do a big beam right here. Like a fat beam. Okay. Now, this is either going to be a good idea or a terrible idea. Because some of the pictures I was looking at of trees with like this light, they have big areas of light. So I feel like it should have more than that. Like that. That was a good idea. Shockingly, that was a good idea. Putting a little bit of weight into the beam so it's not just the thin light is actually a really, really good idea. To just kind of give this almost like, not a fog effect, but a little bit of a, it's not just those beams of light, but that there's an aura of it, an aura of the light areas. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's it, everybody. That's what I was going for. Like I said, this isn't a particularly long or tough one because I'm just keeping it one shade, but that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to leave it like that. And I don't think I want to add anything else. I think that's it. I think if I do anything else, I'm going to risk screwing it up. So, yeah, you know what? That's it. So there you go. That is the part 3. So the final bit of, wait, did I put a beam there? Is that a beam? I think I put a beam there. Hold on. I think I actually put a little... Wait, is this the right brush? Or is it this brush? Well, let's assume it's this brush. This one looks lighter to me. I think I put a little beam there and I didn't finish it. Let me finish that. There we go. Yeah, better. Yeah, see, I don't mind this little ghost effect too. So just so that there's more light than just those beams coming out. I think that's actually good to have that in there. Kind of indicate the larger presence of the light. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a good idea. Yes. That's what pictures look like. See, they have these larger kind of auras around the lighter beams. See how that looks like the light is kind of floating off it? That's what a lot of the pictures I was looking at just to see what they look like. See, that I think is really good. I think that's important. And then that makes this a little darker too, because it's over here and you're getting kind of that light aura effect happening without going too crazy. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Done. Golden Rays of Sunshine, the blue version. The next one will be, boy, I really hope I didn't put too much liquid clear on that thing. It's so tough to tell sometimes. Anyway, if I did, I'll find out tomorrow. Otherwise, that's it. I think I'm centered on there. That's the end of this one. The next one will be yellow and orange. All right. That's it. Talk to you later, everybody.